Hey everyone, and welcome to the part 2 of the After Effects classroom. In the first part, so if you didn't check out the first video, it's on my YouTube channel. It's called After Effects Classroom, the introduction, where I go over how to create compositions, how to understand the user interface of After Effects, the tools, how to start basic animations and understanding keyframes and storyboarding. So please, if you haven't checked that out, go over and check out the video first, because this is part 2. So in part 2, we're going to go over a little bit more of how animation works and how to create transitions. So to explain transitions, it is a way for animators to go from one idea or one frame or one concept to the next. All right, so we're going to go over this right now. First thing I'm going to do is create a new composition. So again, composition, new composition, and say OK. So for me to create the transition, I need a few elements. Also, I do apologize for the previous video because my microphone was very close to my mouth and you can hear me breathing. So I am sorry about that. This one will be a bit better. I moved the microphone a bit further away. So let's create a transition. So I'm going to start with normal solids. A solid is basically just a normal image of a color that goes into the entire composition. So to create that, I go over here to my layers, right click, say new, and say solid. First one I'm going to create is an orange one. Next I'm going to create a black one. So solid, click on the background color, say OK, and there we go. So we have a black and we have an orange. Perfect. So what I would like to do is first of all have the orange on the top and the black under. And to explain transition in a better way, I'm going to create a new text saying hi in white. I'm also going to scale up this typography. I'm also going to go to align, center it, and center. There we go. So to find the align, if you can see align right here, or anywhere on the right side, over here, what you do is you go to window, go down and make sure align is clicked on and it will appear on your right side. So align tool helps me to center with this button on the horizontal for my composition and center vertically for any layer that I have selected. So now this typography is in the center of my composition. Perfect. So I want to create a small little animation of the high being completely disappeared, invisible, and animating from the left to the right as a bouncing motion. So let me show you how we do this. So first of all, I need to locate my pivot point. It's on the left side. I need to be a little bit closer. So what I'm going to do is just select my Y tool, or the pan behind anchor point tool. And if you notice, excuse me, if you notice my anchor point is a little bit to the left. I need it to be completely glued to the typography, right here. Perfect. Alright. Oops, sorry. So I'm going to open up the panel for high. So over here, I'm going to click on this little arrow, go to transform. This is where I have all my transformation and animation tools. So I'm going to transform it from half a second. It's going to start at half a second. So now I'm going to position my timeline at half a second. Perfect. Click on the stopwatch and I have my first keyframe. So what I want to do here is remove the hyperlink over here and ensure that my entire typography is hidden. So let's see, this is not the right one. I would like this one. Perfect. So I'm going to click on this one to 0. So now the entire scene is completely gone. The high is disappeared. Perfect. So what I'm going to do is move forward a bit in time. Go back to 120, like so, stretch it out. Then move a bit the time and go back to 100, giving you this cartoon effect of a bounce. So if I play this, you get that. Okay, perfect. So I'm gonna do this. Next, I'm gonna rotate the high in a certain way to allocate space for what's gonna come next. And what's gonna come next is my name. So I'm gonna create a new text right here and say, I am Alex. So let me place it here. I'm gonna scale this down. Oops, sorry. I'm gonna scale this down. There we go. I'm also gonna press enter on I am Alex. And make sure they are a bit closer together. So everything I'm controlling about the typography comes in the character panel right here. If you can't see this, again, the character, just go to Windows on the top, right here, and make sure character is clicked on. So what I'm gonna do here is scale in between. So I want it to be a bit closer. There we go. So let's look at how this animation is gonna go about. First of all, I'm gonna focus on the high. So my high is going like so. Perfect. Then I want it to rotate. So as soon as this animation is done, I would like to click here, rotation. And since my anchor point is on the bottom left, it's going to rotate from here to the left, like an arc. Let me show you exactly what I mean. It's going to do this. So I want a 90-degree angle. So minus 90 degrees. Perfect. So it's going to go from 0 here to around 1 second minus 90. Perfect. So this is my animation for the only high. It's a bit too fast, it's rotating way too fast. I want it to be a bit slower, so I'm gonna move these keys. Whoops, sorry about that. That's when I press Control 3. I'm gonna move this over here so that it goes high, a small little pause, and then rotates over. I want the rotation to be a bit slower, so I'm gonna move the last keyframe for the rotation a bit further away. Much better. So high, there we go. And now I would like this entire text to pop out from here. Like so. We're going to do exactly the same thing we did with the high, which is I'm going to take my anchor point, make sure it's on the furthest side. It is on the last dot of the A, on the bottom right corner of A, right here. So it's aligned perfectly. Oops, sorry about that. And what we're going to do here is take the high and use it with the I am Alex. So I am Alex. The rotation is done over here for the high, and I'm going to go into the transform for I am Alex, press on the scale right here, remove the hyperlink and reduce this to 0. So the best way to work with After Effects is do one thing at a time. Don't put a lot of layers and try to animate them all together. No, just go step by step. I finished the high animation that I would like. Now I'm going to jump to I am Alex. So now it's over here. I'm going to move a bit further with my time and pop it back to 120 and then 100 again. Perfect. Giving me this animation. Okay? We are perfect where we are right now. So next I would like to jump to a transition where I show my age, and I don't want to do it from here. I want to do it somewhere else. So I would like something to block the entire scene so I can see a new panel. And we do this very simply. Let me just close all of these up. So I got all my layers. Perfect. I have the black. I would like the black to swipe through the scene to block out hi, I'm Alex in a certain way. So I'm going to put the black side on the top. No, before that, sorry. I'm going to have to cut all of these up in a certain way to allocate time and space for my black background. So let me show you. Hi, I'm Alex. Okay, perfect. It stops right here. So I selected I am Alex high and the orange solid, Alt right bracket to cut it out. That way the black will show after. Okay? And what I'm going to do is take the black background to the top, Alt right click, Alt left bracket so I can cut the black background, and I'm going to move it to the side. And now I'm going to press on the position. So here I'm going to open transforms, position for the black background, and move it from here to 2 seconds to here. Now what you notice that the white background came to play because I cut my layers for hi, I am Alex and the orange background in a certain way. So what I want to do here is allow this to happen a little bit longer. So I'm just going to grab all three of them, push them a bit forward to here. That way, hi, I'm Alex, and then this swipes. They will stay visible during the duration of the animation for the black background over here. So again, hi, I'm Alex, transition. Perfect. And now I can jump to something else, which is a new text. say I am 28 years old. So I would like this to be aligned in the center, like so. And a little bit spread apart, so let me just space them out a little bit. And scale them down. There we go, grab my layer, move it up a little bit. Whoops, whoops, sorry. Let me align it to the center of the composition. Perfect, there we go. So now I would like the black background to finish, great. And then as soon as this happens, I'm gonna cut my I am 28 years old layer right here so that it doesn't show before. Great. And I'm gonna make it appear and disappear, very simple. And you do this with opacity. So here, open up the tab, open up transform, opacity to 0, and I'm gonna slowly fade it in to 100%. So let's see how it looks. So hi, I'm Alex, I'm 28 years old. Okay. Now something that we use commonly as artists, it is the change of keyframe behavior. So if you notice, they are diamonds right here. If I right click on them, select them, right click, say keyframe assistant and ease or F9 on your keyboard, they will change to these kind of shapes. And this will make your animation a lot smoother. Alright, so I can do this with all of them. The way I can see all the frames is by pressing U on your keyboard. It allows me to see all the keyframes on all the layers, like so. Select them all, press F9 on your keyboard, and that's it. To change them back the way they are, you press Control and click on one of them. Doesn't really matter. Okay? So F9, Control click goes back. F9. So let's see how much smoother the animation will be. It seems a lot more fluid, which is very nice. So this is kind of an introduction of how to start working on motion graphics and maybe on transitions. Alright, so other examples of transitions that you can do is by simply creating shapes. So over here, I have shapes. I'm going to create an ellipse of a black color. Just create a circle. There we go. So before I do this, I just want to warn people, if you have epilepsy, this might cause a few issues. So if you have that problem, please skip a little bit forward so that you don't see the animation, because what I'm going to do is basically flash white and black circles to pop out, and I don't want anybody to get bothered by that. So let's start with the first animation here. So this was a warning. Please, if you have epilepsy, just skip a bit forward to the animation. So the way to do this, also, instead of me always going to the tab, going to transforms and opening everything, I have some keys that I can use to shortcut. So if I want the scale, I can press S on my keyboard, I get the scale, P for position, T for opacity, and R for rotation on my keyboard. And I'm able to just use those specific instead of opening the menu fully. So here I'm going to work with the scale. So I would like, for my animation, to go from this, so let's say 0, 0. Perfect. Click on the scale, move forward a bit, and I'm going to scale this black background all the way up, like so, giving me this effect. Now, alone, this is a very good transition, but what if we want to do something a bit cooler? So what I can do here is create a new shape of a white fill. Whoops, sorry. What I'm going to do actually is copy this. There we go. Control C, Control V, so I have another one. So this is going to be the black one. Black. This is going to be the white. Very simple, all I do is change the fill to white. Now, since both of them I copied with the animation, what is so simple here is that I can just move this a bit further away, put it down here. So, scales up. Oops, sorry, I did a mistake. Here, the white stays up, the black stays under. Perfect. So what I can do is take these keys and move them a bit forward in time. It's going to go black, then the white will show up, and then we can take the black, Control copy, Control V, put it on the top, press U, select the keys and move them a bit further away from the white, creating this kind of a stairs effect. So this will give me this kind of animation. Okay? So this is a very simple animation or transition you can do. Of course, I can press F9 on all the keys. That way it becomes a little bit smoother. Perfect. Done. So that's one kind of transition. Another kind of transition I can do is using rectangles. I can just swipe things together. So together as well, you can use any kind of shape, but here I'm going to use the pen tool. I'm going to show you why. With the pen tool, I'm going to draw a new shape. So make sure that nothing is selected. And I'm going to draw a new shape which looks like a bit of a triangle in the center that goes like so. Over here and back to the source. Okay, a kind of a triangle. Perfect. So with this triangle, what I'm going to do is first of all move it. So this is going to be called the triangle. And I'm going to make sure the triangle is visible after the final circle animation. So these are the circle animations right here. And I'm going to make sure this triangle, Alt left bracket, it starts being visible from here. There it is. Perfect. I'm also going to move it to the side, like so. And what it's going to do is, I'm going to drag it all the way in here. I need to scale it up a little bit more. Like so. That way it does this effect and goes through, and that's it. Maybe a little bit more. I need to make sure. There we go. This is how I need to make sure. I'm going to put it all the way there and scale it up. That way it fits the entire screen. So from here it's going to go like that and stop right here. Right here. So what I'm looking at is these 2 points. This point and this point, making sure they are outside of the composition. So if I do this, they're still inside, so I'm going to scale a bit longer. There we go. Now they're perfect. There we go. So I'm going to put this all the way here. And I'm going to animate this position a little bit further ahead. Click on the stopwatch. And I'm going to move further ahead. And move this all the way here. Like so. Giving me this animation. And now what I can do as well is copy this. Control copy, Control V. Change the fill to a black. Perfect. Press U on my keyboard so I can see the keys. And move these further ahead a little bit. Giving me this kind of animation. Perfect. So these are types of transitions. Very simple in concept. It's just a few keyframes to create that aspect. So I'm going to add another white one. Control copy, Control V. Since we stopped on the other one, it was basically the white. So I want to take all of these, move them a bit further from the black. There we go. Perfect. Giving me this animation. Fantastic. We start white, black, white. Okay. Of course, select all the layers, all the keys, and press F9. And I get something like this. You can manipulate this as much as you want, and you can have fun with this as much as you want. So for my students, your final project will have these kind of transitions, and you can start working on your project that way with some motion graphics we'll look at in the next video. Motion graphics is very interesting. It's just things that move like lines and circles and stuff like that, so it's going to be very fun. Now, another issue that comes to play when you're working with After Effects. My layers, I have too many layers. I don't want to scroll up and down constantly to work here. So what we have to do here is basically try to adjust this to scale them down in a certain way. In Photoshop, this is called merging the layers. Here we create a pre-composition. So I have all of these. I'm very happy with them. So what I'm going to do is cut away all the layers, select all the layers, and press Alt right bracket on the last animation. So my animation is ending right here. Perfect. I put my timeline here, Alt right bracket. It cuts everything together. I keep my time where it is. I right click on them since they're all selected and say pre-compose. And I'm going to call this transition, circle, and triangle. And say OK. What happens now is that I have a new composition inside of my original composition, which is called transition triangles. So here, since I had my timeline, I can press Alt right bracket. And now I have all of these that are working together into one single layer. And they are in the main composition. So I have comp1. We're going to rename it to main. Perfect. If I made a mistake, let's say I kept on playing the animation and I noticed there is a mistake here, I can go back into this main composition to fix whatever I had a mistake. So let's say my triangle, this one, this white one, oh, I made a mistake. I can take this, double click it, and I'm back to exactly where I was before. And if you notice here, you have the main comp and the transition circle and triangle. Perfect. So I can just go back, oh, which one is it? It's this one. I can adjust it if I want to. Alright? Typically, what I like to do as well is inside of this main composition, since the background is white, I like to create a new solid that is white and say OK and put it under. That way I have all of these animations perfect and everything goes together and I still have the white after I move my mouse all together here. Because technically this composition, this transition, and all of these are stopping at this point. So if my background was a different color, let me explain this a bit in better detail. So my main composition, I want to change the settings to a, I don't know, red. Red means bad, alright? Just keep that in mind. So here I have my transitions. It starts with red, of course. My transitions happened, and then it goes back to red, which is bad. So what I can do here is create a new solid, make it white, put it under, and there you go. So now everything is fixed in that sense, because the red means bad, and I have a white solid protecting my layers and my composition in a sense. So now everything went back to normal. So I really hope you enjoyed this kind of tutorial. Please, if you like my videos, if you like my content, like, share, subscribe, and comment. I would really appreciate it. And I'm gonna do another video after this, which is gonna be about how to create more advanced transitions using motion graphics, which we're gonna learn in the next video. So thank you for following me so far, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.